course, the Raiders, who had been 5-2, have now lost 2 in a row. They had the ugly loss on the road to the Giants, and now they lose at home to the Chiefs. You mentioned that teams need to outscore the Chiefs, and that was a formula that the Raiders had begun to perfect last year. Remember, they went into Kansas City and won, I think 40-32 was the final score. The Chiefs are going to score their points. We just have to score more and then maybe break serve once late in the game and keep them from doing something magical. It's exactly what the Raiders did. But here's the problem, Mike. They're now more than a month removed from the departure of Jon Gruden. And at some point, not having Gruden's brain in the building is going to have an impact at some point. And all due respect to Rich Bisaccia, who has had a great career as a special teams coordinator, has never been a serious candidate anywhere to be a head coach. When I'm trying to pick this game, and it's like, hey, the Raiders are pretty good this year, but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and I know the Chiefs are struggling. And for me, it boiled down to Andy Reid versus Rich Bisaccia. I mean, if we would have analyzed that matchup in any other setting, at any other time, in any other format, we'd say, are you kidding me? Andy Reid versus Rich Bisaccia? What? And that was it for me. And all due respect, again, to Rich Bisaccia, but this isn't the guy that Mark Davis would have had coach the team if this had all come to a head back in June and he had to hire a new coach then. This is the guy who just happened to get the tap on the shoulder when Gruden got run out the door. And a month into it, I think we're seeing what happens when you take a pretty good team, you force the coach out in the middle of the season, and you force ownership to find somebody else to take over. At some point, Andy Reid and coaches of that ilk are going to run circles around that team.
Yeah, it's a team who all of a sudden started to get cracks in it with the situations that they had going around them. When you do that, you start to take on a little bit of water. And then a lot of it is, okay, how do you react when you take on a little bit of water? Because we looked at that team early in the season, and they were a pass-happy team because Josh Jacobs had been hurt, and their defense had been playing really well. But that's what a long season does. A long season kind of levels you out to where you are. And then you add what you just said, where you have, a coach going through that situation. You have one of your star players, again, going through what he's going through, and again, thoughts more to the family of the young lady that was killed in that accident. Again, it still seems awful to talk about football in this case, but it's part of that situation now at the Raiders where it, from a football aspect, where it adds up on you, and also to the point of you leveling out where you are as a team, and maybe the hot start was more than you thought, but Jon Gruden is a heck of a football brain from that aspect of it. When we just look down that microscope, and they don't have that anymore. So there's no doubt there has to be something like that to it as well of when that could take effect. But like I said, it's never just one thing. Let's also give the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who we've been scratching our heads about not playing well, they have started to play a little bit better. Much like we'll talk about later, the Washington football team defense had been awful. Well, they pulled one out of the hat yesterday and looked like something that we thought they were going to look like a little bit. So I also, while I agree with your point as one of the factors, also I'll give credit to the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who I think we all know, and I'm sure they did, are better than they've been showing, and they were able to show that some last night.
And the reality is the game was still up for grabs, arguably, 24-14. Not over, not done. And the moment that was bizarre, frankly, Deshaun Jackson's first game for the Las Vegas Raiders, gets behind the defense as he always seems to do, even at the age of 35, makes the catch, gets the Raiders in a position where they're closing in on the end zone. And I don't know what happened there. They said on the broadcast it looked like he got disoriented. I don't know if he shifted into punt return mode. He was running kind of like the wrong way. Here it is for anyone who missed it or anyone who saw it and still wonders what the hell they were seeing. He's got it. He's gone. What is this? What is that? What was he? What did he? I don't get it. He stopped and turned when he just should have motored toward the end zone, and the ball gets popped out. In real time, I almost thought he tried to lateral it to somebody, and there was nobody there, but clearly the ball got punched out, and Tyrann Mathieu makes the recovery. But we know he's fast. He's starting toward the end zone, and he was trying to elude Fenton. And if they just don't turn it over there, if he just gets tackled, and they get a field goal out of the drive, it's 24-17. Game still, potentially in the balance. But I feel like that moment just sucked all the life out of the Raiders. And it was all Chiefs after that. And the next thing you know, 24-14 becomes 41-14.
And I get what you're saying, but when you get to that level, now everybody's a professional football player in that league, but there are some that are known for big plays. And certainly Deshaun Jackson is known for getting behind a defense, which you said it before, and I think we should say it again. At 35, it's still really incredible what he's able to do and take the top off the defense. At the end of the day, Mike, he's a guy who has made plays, and he's a guy who will try to always make a play. And in all honesty, you want that. I want to be able to tell a player, hey, pull back instead of, hey, give me more. And what you're saying, I'm telling you, is 100% right. Just make that play right there, and you're in field goal range. But that's not the way players, especially big players that make big plays, think. It's like, I'm making a big play, I can make it a bigger play. Now, and even if a coach, what coach is going to say, hey, if you catch a deep ball, we're in field goal range, just make sure you get down. They know they're not supposed to fumble the ball. Deshaun Jackson is the guy that's always going to try and make a play. And in all honesty, I always want him to try and make a big play. Because he'll try that another time, and he'll elude the defender and score. It looked wacky. I guarantee, I'm with you. Great job by Fenton punching the ball out. Wonderful job. But that's just a player who has made big plays in the past, trying to make a big play. So I get it.
I don't remember a time in his career, though, where he did kind of a do-si-do move after he'd gotten behind the defense to try to loop back around. Again, I'd love to know how that was all going to work out. When you spin back around and let the guy get in front of you and, but for the ball being punched out, maybe we would have seen something that we've never seen before. I don't know. But it did feel like that was the moment that the Raiders had the gut punch that they couldn't recover from, and the Chiefs took that, and they used that as the momentum that allowed them to put the game away. So they are very much alive now at the top of the AFC West, and those other three teams had their chance. They're all falling off. The Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders, again, all lose on Sunday, and the Chiefs stand alone at the top for now. Still plenty of football to be played.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.